My name is Isaac Pelayo. Check me out on the Bootleg Kev podcast.
Yo, Bootleg Kev podcast, man. Special guest in here. My guy Isaac Pelayo is in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
For people who don't know, this guy is an incredible artist, incredible painter. You've seen his works if you are a fan of Griselda. Would you say that because you have like a signature style? It's like, is it realism with your own twist? Because I know that there's like, words for certain styles of painting.
Well, the foundation of my work is definitely realism. It's figurative. Mm-hmm. But in the last 4 or 5 years, I've been introducing more street, contemporary, modern stuff towards, mixing it with the realism.
Like you'll have like a real, some realism and then like the smiley face.
Yeah. That's part of that's a spin of contemporary mixing with the classical realism that I do. I do a lot of Renaissance type of imagery or religious iconography, and I'll mix that with some street shit. It's mixing it with maybe some spray paint, oil pastels, kind of introducing a new element to it, giving some layer, depth, and texture. That's been in recent years, though. But the foundation of my work is definitely realism.
How long have you been a full-time artist?
I would say since the beginning of 2020. That's
when you were like all in.
Yeah, there was
because you were making money before 2020 though.
Yeah, for sure. But 2020 was that was the pivoting moment. That's when things really cracked off.
Was that because obviously for people who don't know you, if you have seen any of these paintings that you've done, there's like the third eye, and that's kind of like a signature Isaac thing, right? And we were just talking. You just dropped the Tupac print. How long ago did you do that painting?
I did that painting January of 2017. That was the first piece that I did incorporating a third eye, and it kind of started. I ended up doing a whole series based off of it because it became really popular.
It became popping,
And then so I did a whole show, a whole body of work surrounding that. Didn't think it was going to take off as much as it did, but when Wes picked up the concept, it really blew up.
West Side Gun, for people who don't know,
yeah.
So West Side Gun saw that painting and then just contacted you, and he's got this condo in Phoenix that's just like a little art museum. It's got so many of your pieces in it.
Yeah.
And I've been to Buffalo to the store, and your stuff's in there.
Yeah, he's got a gang of my shit for sure.
How many paintings has he got off you?
Probably north of 30 now.
Damn.
Yeah, he's got a lot. He's got a few sculptures, a couple of small pieces, ton of prints.
For you, I feel like when you do something like the third eye thing, you didn't know obviously that it was going to change things for you.
No, not at all. It's funny because I talk about that situation quite a bit, and still to this day I had no idea. I was just so the story, the way it goes is I was in college in Vegas, and I dropped out.
Would you go to UNLV?
Yeah, I was going to UNLV. I was technically studying art, but
I lived right by UNLV.
Their art programs are ass.
Yeah,
so,
I lived off of right by the Blueberry Hill restaurant off of Trop.
Oh, okay. I was on.
No, that was on Flamingo. It was on Flamingo, and it was over there somewhere. But shout out to Vegas.
You're more like northern. You're like more northern, right? More northeast.
I was like right behind UNLV. So I was like Flamingo, like right by Blueberry Hill, that restaurant. That's like
I was living in South though, like more Henderson.
Oh, okay.
So I lived on Eastern and Sunset.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was right across the street from McCarran.
Molly Mall's old house.
Yeah, when it was McCarran, I think they call it something else now.
I think it's still McCarran.
No, because I tried to look it up.
Really?
And it's like some other name. Yeah, it's stupid.
So you were going to school for art. Which is a weird thing. I feel like when people say I go to school for art, I'm like, really?
I was majoring in fine art, but when I got there, I quickly realized that their art programs aren't really shit. They got
feels like a hustle.
Yeah,
not a purposeful hustle, but there's certain people when they say they this is their major. I'm like, I mean, do you want to be an artist? Because are they going to teach you how to be like I might teach you like technique or like history or something, but I feel like you either got the sauce or you don't.
Yeah, I wasn't even planning on going to school. I wanted to go to Pasadena Art Center. That's where most people aspire to go to when they want to learn, more contemporary stuff, kind of further and expand their horizons. But I went to please, my ex's parents, my parents, and I just sort of fell into it. I was like, all right, fuck it. I guess I'm going to go to school.
Now I can say I'm in school.
Yeah.
Set everybody up and still kind of do what I want.
Got the little college experience. But when I started going to school, I was already really proficient in drawing. My portraits in pencil were already pretty realistic, and I already had a sense of a backstory to my work. And I had taken art history in high school, and I felt like I was already I had already built a solid foundation as a young artist. I already had a style. I was already drawing pretty good. I had already been exhibiting my work. I started exhibiting my work when I was 10.
Oh,
so
shit.
By the time I was 18,
so you were already great at
I wouldn't say great. I just already had almost a 10-year head start. So I felt like school was just kind of unnecessary. I already knew what I wanted. I already knew where I was, for the most part, headed. I just figured, fuck it. Maybe maybe I'll learn the business side of it. I should have studied business management, or maybe even theater, because I was doing acting too. So I probably would have benefited more from that. But yeah, I was there for about 2 years. I dropped out, and when I dropped out, I started painting. I wasn't painting up until then.
because that's always, you'll see people who are really good at drawing and then they end up getting into painting or tattooing.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, yo, that feels like such a far thing to be good at that. And then because it's different tools,
Yeah, it's a different way of making art, that's for sure. But my dad's a pretty well-known artist too in the LA community, and his work is some of the most incredible pencil realism I've seen. I would argue he's one of the best pencil artists that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So by the time I was 18, I was already drawing pretty close to that level, where we would exhibit our work together side by side, and people would mistake my work for his work, and I would kind of fall into the shadows. And so I already knew then that I wanted to veer off and do, something different that made me stand out, so that I had my own identity. And then painting seemed like the right fit. And luckily, I did, because it was the right fit. It was able to create big work that people responded to. It's so hard to sell pencil drawings. People respond more to paintings, the texture.
No, for sure.
color.
I feel like if someone's going to spend money on something, spend money on a painting.
There aren't pencil drawings that are as coveted as paintings are. If you look at the history of the auction houses and all the pieces of art that is ever sold for the most amount of money, it's all paintings or sculptures. Drawings, they fall short of it. There's some drawings. If you're fucking Da Vinci and you got one
if you're that name and you're